Series that reconstructs contemporary events through the eyes of the people who were there. We call it Minute by Minute. The first episode, planned and produced over the past year, is about the bombing of the World Trade Center on February 26, 1993. That attack foreshadowed the horrific events of September 11th. This program tells the story of the triumph of the human spirit, giving us hope when all appears to be lost. How everyday men and women become our heroes when faced with overwhelming odds. The people who participated in this episode survived the recent attack, but so many others have perished. We dedicate this program to the men, women, and children who lost their lives in the terrorist attacks on February 26, 1993, and September 11, 2001. Here now is Minute by Minute.
Confusion, horrific screams. The world was coming to an end.
15 seconds.
It will never leave my mind.
Tonight on Minute by Minute, the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. New York City, rush hour. Millions of people trudge through snow and freezing winds. Thousands come here to the World Trade Center in Lower Manhattan. It is a city in itself. Two of the world's tallest buildings, with 2 train stations, a hotel, mall, and more than 230 elevators, shuttling a daily population of nearly 200,000 people. One of those thousands is Carl Selinger, a manager with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey for 24 years. This morning, he's at his desk in Tower 1.
I work on the 65th floor, had a beautiful view out towards the Statue of Liberty, so it was like home.
7 floors above, the Port Authority's chief engineer, Gene Fasulo, is in his office on the 72nd floor.
My role was basically to run the engineering function at the Port Authority. It was really a very busy day.
Port Authority attorney Kathleen Collins enters her office on the 66th floor. 9 a.m. Thousands of other commuters stream out of the center's bustling train stations and into their offices. The Trade Center now teems with workers and visitors equaling the population of the entire city of Laredo, Texas. 10:10 a.m. A class of kindergartners makes its way through the huge glass revolving doors of Tower 2. They've come from Brooklyn on a field trip with their teacher, Rosemarie Russo.
I had 14 children that day. We're going to observation deck upstairs to get a bird's eye view of New York.
56 miles away, across the Hudson River, stock trader Tim Lang starts up his Toyota 4Runner for the trip to his office in New York City. It was a trip he did not want to make.
My partner called me that morning and asked me to come in that day. But I didn't see the point, and he eventually came around to convince me to come in.
11:15 a.m. 3 other men are also heading toward the World Trade Center. Iyad Ismail and Ramzi Youssef are driving a 10-foot yellow Ryder van. Following them is a car driven by Mohammed Salame. The FBI has a file on Salame. He is a known associate of reputed Islamic terrorists. Salame had leased the van from a Ryder rental agency in Jersey City 3 days earlier and reported it stolen just yesterday. It now carries a 1,500-pound bomb made of urea nitrate and hydrogen. 11:55 a.m. The yellow Ryder van pulls into level B2 of the World Trade Center garage. Iyad Ismail steers it to an illegal parking space. Mohammed Salame follows behind. Rosemarie Russo starts rounding up her 5-year-old sightseers on the Trade Center observation deck. Tim Lang pulls into the center's garage, 4 blocks from his office. In the Ryder van, Ramzi Youssef readies a fuse attached to the 1,500-pound bomb. On the 65th floor, manager Carl Selinger leaves to get some lunch before his next appointment.
Well, the Port Authority has a cafeteria on the 43rd floor. I figured that, well, let me go get some salad to bring back to my desk because I really wanted to prepare for this meeting.
Gene Fasulo and two co-workers decide to go downstairs.
So we were actually on our way to lunch, and we were going to catch up on the events of the last week or so.
On the B2 level, Ramzi Youssef lights a fuse on the bomb. The fuse is encased in rubber, which suppresses smoke and allows for a 10 to 20-minute burn time. 150 feet away, the center's supervising engineer, Alan Reese, heads down the hallway to his office.
I was going downstairs to the office to see some friends and just talk about what we're going to do this weekend and how things were going.
2 floors below, on B4, engineer Fred Furby finishes a job and tells his co-worker, Richie Walsh, to go upstairs to turn in their worksheets.
I was telling him to go take the paperwork, turn it in, so they don't come down and bother us, you know? And I just was so insistent on it, so he wouldn't turn it in.
12:05 p.m. Youssef and Ismail jump into Salome's car and speed out of the garage. 12:10 p.m. The fuse on the bomb has been burning for 6 minutes. Off-duty Port Authority detective Thomas McHale reads a newspaper on the Trade Center's concourse level as he waits for a train to New Jersey. McHale happens to be in the building for a doctor's appointment following a work-related injury.
The morning I was actually off duty. I injured my ankle in a line-of-duty injury in the subway.
Stock trader Tim Lang has found a parking spot. It's on the same level as the Ryder van, where the fuse has now been burning for 11 minutes. It's 12:17 p.m.
I'd gotten into the elevator and pressed 65.
I'm approached by an individual who asks for directions to the Newark train.
We're waiting now for the elevator to come for us.
I was standing within the door frame and had just opened the door to my office.
We entered an elevator on the 72nd floor.
I was cutting insulation, you know, putting it on the cart.
I was in my office, and my friend was coming up, and we were going to have pizza.
I got out of the car, opened the backseat door, reached for my things, had my car keys in my hand.
The rental van detonates with a force equivalent to 800 pounds of TNT, tearing through 11-inch concrete floors in the bowels of America's famous landmark.
I was physically lifted up into the air and thrown back with terrific force.
All of a sudden, just boom, something hit me, and it's like, it actually like it took my breath away. It blew me across the room.
The exterior walls of the garage came caving into the path concourse level.
On the street, car windshields as far as 300 feet away are blown apart as the wave of the blast shoots up through the buildings.
The elevator just came to emergency stop. It jiggled as it stopped quickly.
And then all of a sudden it stopped. It like shuddered and then stopped.
We were waiting to go down. The lights started flickering and the alarms started going off.
The wind is knocked out of you, but expand that to be every part of your body just being squeezed.
The smoke went up the elevator shaft and up some of the stair towers. Very shortly, it became very difficult to breathe.
I could just remember all the gray smoke just filling the whole entire area.
I put my hand in front of my face to try to see if I could see my hand, and I couldn't see anything. So my first thought was that I was blind.
Chaos and confusion confront rescuers as they try to reach Lang and thousands of others. At 12:18 in the afternoon, a 1,500-pound bomb is detonated in the underground parking garage of the World Trade Center. 12:20 p.m. New York Police Department bomb squad detective Stephen Dodge is about to go out for a quick lunch.
The phone call came in from the United States Secret Service telling us that there was a large explosion at the World Trade Center.
6 blocks from the Trade Center, while monitoring the police radio, Neil Herman, the supervisor of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, hears about the explosion.
At first, it was believed to be some kind of a electrical or transformer explosion.
12:26 p.m. It's a citywide alert. Within minutes, 750 firefighters and hundreds of law enforcement and emergency personnel, including Dodge, converge on the Twin Towers.
There was mass confusion. People were running out of the building, ambulances were pulling up, fire trucks were pulling up.
Police set up a command center on the street outside Tower 1.
Smoke was emitting from every single floor.
Blocks away, the FBI's Neil Herman realizes this is no ordinary explosion. He and 8 other agents rush to the scene. 12:30 p.m. Lieutenant John Fox's squad from Brooklyn arrives.
When we pulled up, there was smoke coming out of these garage doors, which were they were like a little blown up. I still didn't know that there had been an explosion.
Inside, chaos. In the garage, at ground zero of the blast, Tim Lang at first believes he's gone blind.
After a short period of time, I saw a faint light, and it turned out to be the interior lights of my car. The doors were open. So I just felt an immediate sense of great relief. I basically was whole, and I wasn't blinded.
At the elevator bank, a floor below the roof deck of Tower 2, kindergarten teacher Rosemarie Russo has one purpose.
All I knew was to get these children, myself and the parents, to a safer place.
She and her 5-year-olds hustle upstairs from the elevator bank to wait outside in the 29-degree cold and falling snow, 110 floors above ground. In a hallway on the 66th floor, attorney Kathleen Collins can only wait in her wheelchair with a few co-workers.
The usual procedure is you wait for the trained personnel to come for a person who has a disability.
In an elevator on the 58th floor, engineer Gene Fasulo is trapped with 9 others.
We decided to take action. We first took the ceiling down from the elevator, hoping to get out the top, and there was no way of getting out the top. We actually ripped the walls off the elevator with our bare hands, and there was nothing but a steel box at that point.
Down on the concourse level, off-duty Port Authority detective Thomas McHale had just finished giving someone directions. Moments later, he sees the man struck by falling concrete.
I can't find the words to describe it. It was just like, oh my God, you know, I can't believe this is happening.
Despite his sprained ankle, McHale assists the man. 4 levels below, building engineer Fred Furby regains consciousness on level B4.
When I came to, there was debris all on me. I got my flashlight and I looked around, and then I saw that what was on me, and then I cleared that off.
It's now 12:35 p.m., 17 minutes after the blast. Even though he was just 150 feet from ground zero, engineer Alan Reese has escaped unscathed from his office on B2. Rescue teams are desperate for his expertise on the towers.
I'm trained. These large rolls of architectural blueprints back up onto West Street to a command center.
Police and fire officials pore over the blueprints to map out a systematic evacuation of the building. Most of the injured suffer from smoke inhalation. Others fare much worse. At the White House, President Bill Clinton's chief of staff, Thomas Mack McLarty, is in the Roosevelt Room working on the budget when a staffer from the National Security Council passes him a note telling him about the blast.
Your first thought is to relate, or it was for me, you know, kind of a personal